65 is Adam Driver's most recent film to hit theaters, and it's pretty disappointing. The concept for the film is an interesting one, but this is a perfect example of the execution not living up to the premise. Starting with what I liked, I think the characterization and acting of Adam Driver's character, Mills, is done quite well. He's easily the best performer here, and although there aren't many people we follow through the movie, there's a clear sense that he's the most competent amongst the cast. I also appreciate the uniqueness in the alien tech design. It's by no means something revolutionary, I just appreciate when alien technology feels alien in its design and functionality, as opposed to something less creative. On top of that, the clash of time periods with futuristic alien technology with Jurassic-era Earth was an idea that isn't seen a lot. The problem is that the idea isn't nearly expanded upon enough to justify its own uniqueness. There isn't enough interesting clashes that happen between the eras that would make the movie special. Like, what is it about Jurassic-era Earth that made this a good story to tell? Why not just have it take place on any alien planet? I can understand if this story was also telling the origin of humanity or something. For example, what if Adam Driver's character interacts with primitive humanity and perhaps his technology is the reason why we've developed intellectually into the species that we are today? Maybe Earth is specifically suited to the development of some kind of medicine for his sick daughter, and that makes it the exact reason why he goes there. Because otherwise you're left with a plot that feels unimportant. This movie, at the end of the day, feels unimportant. Like the stakes, I can't really tell you what they are. They just get off of this planet before it blows up. Okay, cool. Take Batman Begins, for example. Why do the League of Shadows target Gotham specifically? Well, they target Gotham specifically because it had been, quote, a pinnacle of decadence. It's even stated that Gotham has become a breeding ground for suffering and injustice. That's the reason why it was chosen. The reason why makes everything more interesting because it's within direct conflict with Batman, who loves Gotham and would do anything to protect it and raise it up. Now imagine how much less impactful it would be if the League chose Gotham just because, why not? The reason creates the meaning. I see two directions the film could have gone in but didn't. If the crash landing was an accident, have the consequences of that crash be significant. Have it impact Earth in such a way that Mills' crash landing there was important to Earth. If the landing on Earth wasn't an accident, I know it was in the film, but just follow me here, then give the reason why it's Earth specifically. As I said earlier, a good example could perhaps be Earth is the only planet capable of creating a cure for whatever is making Mills' daughter sick. Instead, the landing and thus the plot is both an accident and pretty much unimportant. Another issue I had with the movie is that there isn't really a clock that the movie runs on until more than halfway through it. What I mean by clock is that there's no time crunch that makes our characters move with haste or purpose. Yes, they do find out later that Earth is about to be essentially destroyed by an asteroid. But as I said, it's not really a factor until 3/4 into the movie. Let's say that Mills had discovered that the asteroid was going to hit Earth in the beginning of the film, right after the crash landing. That would send him into overdrive and make every decision, setback, and encounter more tense because we have that ticking clock of destruction in the background. But we don't have that clock, and that's just another factor that leaves the film feeling meandering and, in the end, disappointing. The final issue I'll mention in regards to the film's story and characters is the role of the little girl Koa. I'm not going to speak on her acting ability because a lot of times children just can't do it well. That's basically a given. Instead, I'll speak on how little she means to the overall plot. We quickly understand the value that Mills has to the story, being that he's a pilot who's responsible for returning his crew home. However, I do not for the life of me understand the importance of this little girl in her own right.
I had a reason.
What was the reason?
I had a reason.
What was the reason?
I had a reason.
What was the reason?
I see how Mills develops after connecting with her and becoming a surrogate daughter to a man who's already lost his. I wonder where I've seen that before. But outside of Mills, what is Koa's relevance? Again, this serves no function because now each interaction that we spend with Mills and Koa seems pointless because she could literally just be anyone.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Okay.
A good example of how to do this correctly would be The Last of Us. Not only is Joel coping with the loss of his biological daughter through basically adopting Ellie, she has her own significance by being immune to the cordyceps fungus. This is what makes her important outside of Joel. I have no idea what makes Koa important outside of Mills. Something that could have easily been fixed, and I have an idea on how to do that coming up in a second. Before I do that though, I'll quickly speak on the action and general cinematography of this movie. A lot of the film gave me the impression that it did not want me to see what was happening. I understand having those jump scares for tension, or whatever they may be there for, but some of the action scenes I genuinely just could not tell what was happening. There are a lot of strange cuts that affect the pacing severely, and sometimes the camera is just literally too close to get a good sense of each shot fired and impact landed. There's a moment in the film where Mills is fighting some dinosaurs and Koa is hiding, and they match them together through the editing, but it really just feels like a clunky way to do that. Like, you're with Mills for one moment, he's battling and shooting dinosaurs, and there's explosions, and the music is all hype and tense, and then it cuts back to Koa, and it's quiet, and nothing's happening, and then it'll instantly cut back to Mills as he's shooting a dinosaur in the head or something. It's just very whiplashy, like you're here, and then you're there, then you're here, and then you're there. I don't know, it just felt like this movie could have really used another round of quality control or whatever process happens before they fully release it. Like, this could have used one more edit, one more rewatch, one more something. Now we're at my favorite part of these, where I suggest what could be done to fix it, because as I've said in other videos, simply complaining isn't useful when I can instead throw out my own ideas to help lift a movie up instead of just shitting on it. Now, for a compelling movie, we need ups and downs in the story to keep people engaged. Basically, my idea is to combine the solutions I said before in this video. I would have had Earth specifically targeted as a landing point for the cure for whatever is ailing Mills' daughter. You could say the atmosphere is rich in whatever bullshit thing you want to come up with, but make it believable. But oh wait, there's a massive asteroid that's headed to the planet, and if it hits, the possibility for a cure will be lost. Looks like Mills has to leave right now in order to beat that asteroid. It's at this point that we can keep the whole crash landing thing, as that doesn't really change much and is a good obstacle that he'll have to overcome. Okay, cool, he crash lands, but oh no, his tool for collecting whatever thing out of the atmosphere is broken in the crash landing. But he's smart and realizes that he can collect some organic life and bring it back and extract whatever material that way to save his daughter. But oh no, all the organic life is hostile and wants to kill him, and you can't extract whatever material out of a corpse because the trip back to his planet is like 2 years or something. All hope is lost, blah blah blah, but wait a minute, there's a humanoid little girl that he can easily transport back to his own planet and extract her blood, saving his daughter in the process. Now look who's suddenly relevant because she holds the key to the plot in her blood. Well, maybe not the plot, but the key to a character's motivation. Whatever, you get the point. Let's say Mills finds Koa and also her deceased family somewhere in the vicinity, right? He does some alien technology, whatever the fuck, and sees that she's the sole surviving member of her family, but tricks her into going to the top of the mountain where his ship is with the promise of her family being there.
Gotcha, bitch!
Just like what happens in the film. At this point and afterward, a lot of the plot remains the same. I would make Koa more useful and have her teach Mills how to traverse the land while keeping Mills in that same bodyguard role where he's protecting her from the wildlife there. That way they're both gaining use from each other while also connecting. I also think it'd be more interesting to have the both of them heal each other as opposed to Koa simply healing Mills because he's trying to get over the death of his daughter. In this rewrite, I guess, they are both helping each other to become better. At this point, Koa finds out that Mills was lying about more of her family being at the top of the mountain, just like in the movie. They fight. Mills almost dies trying to save her because at this point he's grown past just seeing her as his daughter's cure and sees her more as his adopted daughter. And again, all of that mutual teaching and bodyguard stuff that I was talking about earlier helps build that connection. Somehow he communicates to her that he's sorry for lying to her and that he sees her as his family now and that, he has to save her from the asteroid that's about to hit the Earth. I don't know how well he'd communicate that with her given that they don't speak the same language, but I'm sure the movie will find a way. That's not the point here. But anyway, she accepts his apology, realizes that there's nothing left for her, and leaves with Mills off of the planet right before it is destroyed, much like in the movie. You can even have that same grudge match with the other dinosaurs, whatever. Not really important, but the point is she accepts him and goes with him. And you can end the film with Mills and his wife now looking over their adopted daughter and their biological daughter being healthy because he brought Koa back to his planet. And they're sisters now, basically, whatever. Happy ending, you get the point. Everything's good. It's not Oscar winning by any stretch of the imagination, but I thoroughly believe this will result in a movie that's better than the one we got. I think that anyone that went out to see this movie will leave the same way that I left it, which was very disappointed. There's not enough that goes on dramatically. There's not enough ups and downs. There aren't enough interesting clashes of technology. There's just nothing interesting that's really going on. Koa isn't really relevant. She's just someone who's there, I guess, to help Mills get over like his daughter's death. There's just not enough. That should be the tagline for this movie. Like, there's just not enough here. And I think that with suggestions like the one I made, they don't even have to be the ones I made specifically, but something along those lines would make the movie a lot better than what it is. It would make it, at the very least, enjoyable. So yeah, that's all I got. Thank you for watching, and I'll have The Last of Us review coming up soon for the entire season.